Boom, you have reached review time with Imperial. Today's review would be Men in Black International. Let's get into it. So this is a reboot of the franchise Men in Black. It's not really necessarily a reboot. It's kind of like introducing a different phase of Men in Black, basically saying Men in Black International is more than just the US, it's all over. So the previews kind of give away majority of the story. So you have Tessa Thompson. She stars in it as Agent M. You have Chris Helmsworth, aka Thor, as Agent H. Liam Neeson, and I knew he was going to be a bad guy too, just from the previews. He's Agent T. And then you have Emma Thompson. She's Agent O. And then you have Kamal Najini. He played in a lot of comedy movies. I first recognized him in the show Hit Silicon Valley. Then he also had The Big Sight. He was starring in that movie. So he did a good job as Pawnee. He's the little character that you see in the trailers. That you see the little green character with the red suit, armor. So it's basically just like the previews. A situation happened in London. Chris Helmsworth and so that's Agent H and Agent T, which is Liam Neeson, was in London. That's how the movie starts off. They on a mission, and then it kind of like goes to the black. You figure they were successful at the mission. Then it goes back. That was in 2016, but then that goes back 20 years ago when Tessa Thompson's character, which is Molly, she Agent M, when she was little, she witnessed some things, and then they zapped her, but they didn't get to zap her because they thought she was asleep. But she had a little alien in her room, and that little alien, she helped that little alien, and that little alien escaped and was free. And you get to see that little alien later on in the film come back to help her, because the alien said something specific to her that only she would know and only he would know. So nevertheless, she always believed, since then there was other stuff going on in the world, she was curious and she wanted to know. So that's where you see where she was able to track down and got some information on the MIB, and pretty much she went through her training and they accepted her. You've seen all that through the trailer. Her first mission, which was a probationary mission, was in London. They met up with some alien guy that they were supposed to protect, and the alien guy, he knew something was after him, so he could feel energy if he could trust, and he knew Agent H, but he felt he changed. He couldn't trust him, but he could trust her, and he gave her this weapon of that was able to fight the Hive. Meanwhile, there are two characters that appeared that they're the villains, and they're actually played by the Les twins. Like, they don't really have talking roles. They pretty much dance. And the Les twins, if you don't know who they are UK based dancers that dance for Beyonce. I think that's the first time I recognized them. And then they also dance with Cardi B, Bruno Mars. So they pretty known UK dancers, but they're playing villains that you think are villains in this movie. And so they're trying to find this weapon the whole time throughout the movie, and that's how you think they're villains. So different journeys, and goes on. That's the plot of the story. Then you get to find that Liam Neeson is really a bad guy the whole time, and he was looking for the weapon. He finally got his hands on the weapon. He wanted to destroy the weapon so that the Hive would come and take over the Earth. But they kind of put two to two together, like, yo, really the bad guy, and then they, of course, they save Earth. You also got to see that little alien thing that Molly, Agent M, I'm sorry, got to see when she was little. That little thing grew up and became a big body, like a bodyguard for an arms dealer that Agent H used to mess with. And when he was going to kill Agent H, she said to him, they told her what he was, and that's the same thing that thing was when she was little. And she said the little thing that he said to her, and he knew that only she would know that, or whatever. So of course he turned on and saved her and stuff like that. So in a nutshell, it was a decent film. Nothing, if you want to compare it to the films with Will Smith, I think that by the time the third one came out, the third Will Smith film came out, it wasn't that great. So you would, if anything, you would be like, if anything, you would think it's better than the third one. I don't want to say it's better than part 1 and 2 of the Will Smith. And it's still open. There's no post-credit scene. There's still an opening for Will Smith to come back, because they want Agent M to come back to New York and leave Chris Helmsworth character, Agent H, leave him over in London. So, you never know if they could work something out, depending on the performance of this film, where you could potentially see Will Smith in another one. You never know. Well, other than that, decent film. Out of my 4-star rating system, I'm going to give this movie, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 4 stars. I won't be surprised if people rate it 2 out of 4 stars, but 2.5, it wasn't a bad film. It was decent. 2.5 out of 4 stars. Like the video, subscribe, leave a comment if you watched it, you was interested. Other than that, till next time.